Hello Hannah, welcome my artsy friend. Today we are going to use gouache again after such a long time. This is my Imi palette that contains jelly gouache that I haven't used yet this year. So it's time to clean up our palette, refresh our gouache and get started. I found this amazing inspiring picture online in a website called Unsplash, and I was so inspired that I had to reproduce it. I will see you again in the end of the video to share with you the final result. The tools I use is my Imi gouache palette. As a sketchbook, I use a Canson Fluid Mixed Media sketchbook, and I use 3 different brushes. They both all from Boldmere brand. That is a brand from a local art store here in UK that is actually been discontinued recently. I'm using a number 1 just for fine, very fine detail, and it's a round one. I use the number 9, which is the one that I actually use the most, and also a round one. And only for the background I use a flat 3/8 of inch brush. And as you see, I started with background and I try to mix as much as possible my color because I really care about this painting and I didn't want it to look flat by using a straight color from the pan. So I try to give character to my painting. So for the top part of the background, I could see that there was a hint of a purplish color coming through, so I did add a little bit of black and then I had my purple. But as I was mixing that, I noticed that the color was still a bit too dark for what I was going for, so I ended up adding more purple and a bit of white to try to reduce the strength of the color. And I want to start by saying that the sketch itself, it took me a long time to do it because I don't know, it's just inspired me so much, this picture, that I wanted to get it right. And I had to go right straight from the sketch. If you know me, guys, I usually use the sketch just to know where things are going and to understand a little bit of proportion. But this time I really wanted to get it perfect. So yeah, I took a long time to work on my sketch and I tried to preserve the sketch as much as I could as I was going along with the painting. So to do my base, I mix a little bit of a red brown with red and with a little bit of a yellow, and then I went on top to just add a few more shading of yellow and red here and there, so I will not get compact flat background, but instead more dynamic flat surface. And also I play with shadow, and it's not something that I do all the time, and for me this means like I'm growing as an artist, sort of. Not all the project can get that amount of time out of me, so I was really happy to care about this project a bit more and give it all the time that it needed. I didn't rush at all through this project. Here we have 3 a cute semblance of an orange. There is one whole orange, that is the one that I'm doing right now, and there is a half peel orange, and then just the peel of orange that I already done. And I enjoy so much to play with the color. I mix my yellow with red to get the orange color, and then I went a little bit dark, adding a hint of a brown, and at the same time a little bit lighter, adding more yellow into it. And for just the peel, I actually add some white and a little bit of a light bluish, but just a touch to give it that inside of a peel kind of a color. And then I moved to my first flower, the one on the table, and I work here a lot on layering color. The stem contain a light green, a yellow, and a brown. So there were 3 colors just there. And as I said, I really didn't want to lose my sketch because it was super detailed in my sketch and I loved it. And this is why I'm going first with a yellow ochre, so a slightly darker tint of a yellow to define every single petal of my sunflower, because I wanted to know where everything was. I just didn't want to go through with my gouache and cover my sketch. That would have been a big loss for me. So I just went with a yellow ochre to define the petals, and then a lighter yellow for my base, and then I went for a darker yellow to start to add some shadow, and I also add back ochre on the inside to give it more shadow, more dynamics, more depth, and more illusion of a shadow. And yeah, then I went ahead to do all the other flower with the same idea that I used for the first one. So I just cut that out. For the center of the sunflower, I use a darker yellow as a base, but when I went on top with ochre and with a lighter brown and a darker brown, and for the very center I use a green as a base, and then I add a little touch of a darker brown to really let it pop. And it was time to give attention to the base, and I use this red brown as a base that I really love the color, but it wasn't enough. We had a lot of shades to add and a lot of contrast of color, so I went first for a darker brown. Most of these colors are blended together to give it more dimension, as I said before, more depth. And then I'm going with a lighter blend to add some contrast, and I also add a lot of a thin line alternated in dark brown and in a lighter brown to give more character to the base. And once that is done, it's time to add the leaves. The leaves was the only thing I didn't really sketch, the leaves between the flowers, because I knew it was going to be kind of a pointless, because I would have lost that anyway. And as you see, the leaves are not very well defined. I do just add a couple of very light green leaves here and there, but then I use a mix of a darker green. It's not a pure green that I had in my palette, but I mixed that with, I think, with brown to make it a little bit dirtier as green, and I went around to fill the inside. I will come back later on to add some darker definition of green. I actually do it right now, just to give the illusion of the leaves. I'm not actually painting the leaves inside, but just adding lines here and there to give the idea that there are leaves and they are separate from each other. I then didn't like the flat line, so I went back to blend the line so that you still get the idea, but without that straight cut. And for the white flower, I actually mix a little bit of a light blue with white, and then I didn't like how flat it looked, so I went ahead and I add more white on top of the flower and also a bit of yellow to create more movement right there, more shadowing. And it was time to take care of the guitar, but I didn't get to film the entire process because I didn't realize that the camera actually died on me. So you will see here a little bit. Nothing, it's pure color as I said. Here it's a black with the tallow blue, a dark blue, and I am adding more white later on to add more dimension, and more red for the base, more gold for the string, and more brown for the base of the guitar. I'll let you enjoy the last few minutes of the painting without me talking, and I'll see you in a tiny little bit. Finally ready to share with you the final result of today's painting that I'm really proud of. Before to do that, if you haven't already, I would really appreciate if you press the like button, and if you're not subscribed, click subscribe right now. It's the simplest and free way to support me, my dream and my journey, and give me a chance to entertain you a bit more. And now let's see the final result. There you go, guys. This is what we made today. And I really love the amount of detail that went into this work. I am really happy, very proud, and yeah. Let me know in the comment if you like this painting or not, and if you want me to do a little bit more gouache work or still life work. I'll see you at the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!